Everybody see me? Okay. I'm Louisa Betita, and I'm one of the twins. And he was.
Put up closer.
I gotta put it closer?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, I'm Louisa Betita. I'm one of the twins, and I am also Nini's beloved cousin. I want to say good morning and aloha from Hawaii. Today I'm going to speak in behalf of my sister Lita. She couldn't come today. And also in behalf of my late sister Alicia. I'm very honored to pay tribute to Genoveva, affectionately known as Nini. Nini was like a big sister who had a tremendous impact on shaping our lives. My parents, Benny and Lilia Betita, had a high regard for Nini's stellar academic accomplishments. My parents would often say to us, more importantly, my dad, he would say, and coming from Filipino families, he would say, you follow Nini, you do what she does. And with that in mind, we all thought at the very young age that was going to be a really hard act to follow. Believe me, excuse me. However, with that in mind, the seed was planted early. And the three of us forged on to be the best we could. I became a special education teacher, Lita a medical social worker, and my late sister Alicia a nurse. We knew that Nini was proud of us for sure. But more importantly, Nini gave us so much more than being an academic model. Nini truly cared for us and provided us life skills and experiences that my parents were not able to provide simply due to their limited knowledge of American ways. For example, our earliest memories included Nini taking us to our first restaurant, where she taught us what utensils to use for the salad and the main course and where to place a napkin. She also taught us how to order our food and that we speak up, which was terrifying. Oh. I remember that Nini introducing us to chicken fried steak. Patricia, you were there too. I was perplexed thinking, what is chicken fried steak? Is it chicken and steak fried together? No. But when I got the main dish served to me, I figured it out, and I loved it to this day. Very hard to get in Hawaii, though. I also remember Nini and Patricia De Leon Door took us to our first movie, Fair Oaks Movie Theater over there on Grand Avenue. Let me see now. The tickets were 25 cents, I believe, and the popcorn was 10 cents. That was so much fun and a special time for us, especially when we took in a double feature. Nini and Patricia also took us to church about every Sunday. Nini even cajoled us into joining Christmas Eve choir. I remember how very cold it was during this time and how late we had to get up for midnight mass. We couldn't get out of it, as my parents insisted. Oh no, when Nini says you're going to play in the choir, you are going to play in the choir. While Nini was an accomplished pianist and organist, she tried to teach Lita and I to play piano, but we never practiced. Every time her car would come up the driveway, oh, we got so nervous. And she'd say, did you practice? And we said, no. And she was so patient that she said, okay, next time. And then next time, she said, I think we gotta quit this. And I said, yeah, okay. And she said to us in a very non-judgmental way, she didn't chew us out. She just said, I'm disappointed. And that was a killer, actually, to be disappointed. However, Lita later wanted to pay tribute to her by taking up the flute and marching in the marching band because Nini did it. So she did so. Okay, Nini also excelled in sports and exposed us to tennis. We remember shagging balls for her while she played with our Uncle Pablo and Uncle Ruel. I don't know who got the better deal, we shagging or they making points. However, later on, that got me interested in playing tennis, and I was a mediocre player, but I loved it. And then now I was telling Ellis that I picked up pickleball. Does everybody know pickleball? No, well, it's fun. So now I know I can still move. Let's see, Nini also exposed us to music. I recall my sisters and I going over to her house on weekends and listening to Broadway musical albums. We just ransacked that little cupboard and took all of them out. We didn't have a record player at home, but Nini had her favorites like The King and I, Sound of Music, and Oklahoma. And to this day, my favorite are Broadway musicals. I'm going to see the Jersey Boys in September. Okay, I also remember how I learned the custom of baking Christmas cookies from Nini and Patricia. They both taught us how to decorate cookies, which was so much fun. And later, I did the same with my son and my students. I also remember in our personal lives, Nini was a pillar of support when we needed it. I remember Nini taking off from her studies at UCLA and driving up to Arroyo Grande several times to help Lita and I practice on her automatic car to pass our test. You see, we learned to drive on my father's 1951 stick shift Chevrolet, and there was no way we were going to pass the test. Absolutely. So I did not pass the first time. Lita passed the first time. I got a score of 69. I killed myself. But then Nini said, you know, I'm just going to come back. I felt so bad because I knew how far she lived. And, you know, I didn't want her to take time for her studies, which is, no, I'm coming back in 2 weeks. You continue to practice. She did, and I passed. And she was just my lifesaver. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Yes, Nini felt that we needed to pass that driver's test because she was so influential in making sure we participated in extracurricular activities. So being able to drive, my father was a farmer, he could not taxi us around. So being able to drive was our independence so that we could drive home from school, from our cheerleading practice or our clubs or whatever. And so we thought that was the neatest thing. So for that, Nini gave us our freedom. Okay, let's see. Later, as a young adult in Los Angeles, I also came from Arroyo Grande, a small town. I recall Nini helping me rent my first apartment. My parents were especially happy and relieved that Nini was helping me do this. They were very afraid. I remember Nini driving me around for weeks until she found an apartment that was suitable. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. At that time, Nini thought that $164 a month for rent, 2-bedroom furnished, in West LA was good, so I took the apartment. What did I know? I was 19. I also recall her that every weekend, Nini drove from West Los Angeles to the San Fernando Valley where I went to college so that I could stay with she and Steve and Aviva, who was 2 years old at the time. I was homesick, being away from my home for the first time. Nini cooked a spread on Friday nights, and after dinner, I babysat Aviva while she and Steve went to Temple. Nini was also there for me when I had academic challenges and thought about quitting college. I remember Nini being so, and I've heard this word over and over again, I'm so glad I also am saying it. She was so judgmental, non-judgmental, when I confided in her And she listened, and she immediately said to me, if you want, I can get you a job in the insurance company where I work. And I thought, really? I thought that was gonna make it for me. But just knowing that Nini was in my corner made me rethink my options, and I eventually moved forward that semester, passing my courses. So that was very, very important for me, because I don't think I would be where I am today, having done what I've done professionally, without Nini being there and say, I can get you a job being a secretary. And I'm not putting anybody down if you're in that profession. It's just, it was inbred in us. You be academic, you go to college, you get a good job, you know. So nonetheless, Nini was also so giving and extended her home to my sister Alicia while her husband was deployed to Vietnam. I even remember that Steve got a job for her husband, for her, at the University of Riverside, where my sister resided with them for 6 months. So that was really, really quite supportive for my late sister. Lastly, what we admire the most about Nini was her humbleness and her deep care and love for us throughout our lives and the lives of my father and my mother. Nini always remembered our birthdays and sent us unforgettable and beautiful cards and gifts. She was always interested in our accomplishments and was there for us. Nini was an excellent listener. We will sorely miss Nini. She's enriched our lives immensely. When Nini was in college, she told us she would like to be a translator at the United Nations. We thought, ooh, that's pretty exotic. But we thought this was not very, we thought that this was not a befitting job for her at the time. But Nini, of course, did so much more in her life. We are proud of her accomplishments, mostly as a devoted mother and a homemaker and a businesswoman, an athlete, and a musician. And I'm sure to everybody she meets, an unforgettable and long life friend. Did I go off? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to share this morning. And now I'm going to present a very short slideshow of some photos that will show you how Nini is part of our lives.
I suppose it's what it is.